So having a fairing block and marking the fish right under your boat is nice because that's where you're fishing. The other features you see on Fishfinders, this is just kind of features. The bottom lock means that you're just looking at the bottom 10 feet of water. So if you're in 70 feet of water and you turn on bottom lock, you're looking between 60 and 70 feet. You can make it bottom 20 feet, it's variable. But then as you go along and you get into 90 feet of water, you're not looking from 70 to 80 feet anymore. Now you're looking 80 to 90. So it always looks at the bottom 10 feet of the water. And then there's also a zoom function where you can look at a section of the water. So you can look from 50 to 80 feet, and that'll stay the same. You can zoom the 50 to 80 foot up so it shows full screen, because maybe there's a bunch of fish from 50 to 80 feet, and on the 100-foot range, that's just, all the fish are like this. So you can expand the 50 to 80-foot range so that it stretches it out and you can see what's in there. So that's what zoom is used for. Through-hull transamount and in-hull transducers. That's the way they come. You can either have a through-hull one on the transom one, or in-hull is the kind that glues inside the hull. There is no inherent advantage to any of these, although there is an inherent disadvantage to an in-hull transducer, and that is when you glue it inside the hull, it has to shoot through the fiberglass, then the water, get the reflection, and the reflection has to come back through the fiberglass too. So it's not that it can't work, it's that it just has to be done well. So there's a lot more chance for an error in the installation and for it to not work well. And the other reason why in-hull transducers have a reputation for not working well is because they screw up the auto gain. So in a fish finder, rather like a radar, everything's automatic now. Auto gain doesn't work on a through hull. You have to go to manual gain and actually manually gain the thing when you're using a through-hull, in-hull transducer. And so if you do that, you'll get very good results with in-hulls. People will tell you different, but try playing with the gain. Satellite TV on boats. I wanted to cover, at least one safety subject. Intellian came to market about 2 years ago with these Korean-made satellite dishes. They cost a fraction of what the other dishes cost, and now KVH and everybody else has dropped their prices. So rather like Hyundai's, Koreans make pretty decent stuff, and so for the Intellian dishes start under $2,000 now. So I don't know if anyone thinks that's cheap. I do. KVH has a much broader selection of product, including mil-spec type stuff that's military grade, much actually better built than Intellian. But at some point, how good does it need to be? It's satellite TV. Do you want to spend an extra $1,000 just to make it better? So I'm selling a lot of Intellian because of that, let's just say. Again, just like almost everything in life, size matters. The dish size matters to how weak of a signal you can receive. So they've gotten these dishes down now to little tiny 10-inch dishes that actually work. But depending on where you are, they may not work. The good news is the Midwest is a really easy reception area. Until you get to the very top of Lake Superior, the reception is just great around here. When you get way up north, it does become a little problematic. And the reason is because the satellites are above the equator. So as we're from here, we look up at them at about 27 degrees. When you get up by Alaska, you got to look at like 10 degrees on the horizon. You got to really look down low, and it's much more difficult because of the way the signal travels through the atmosphere, the physical distance, and the fact that when you're close to the horizon and your boat's doing this, it's moving more than if you're trying to lock slightly up. When you go down south, the opposite is true. Now the satellites are almost straight above you. And when your boat is rocking and rolling there, it's really a lot more effect to try to look straight up when your boat's rocking and rolling than to try to look at the horizon when your boat's rocking and rolling. So because of that, you get 3 axis instead of just varying on 2 axes. It can actually do this, and that. So the 3 axis and bigger units. You want to go down to Mexico, you need like a 3-foot dish. It just matters. HD reception on boats is a bad idea. If you insist, as most of my customers do, that they want HD reception on their boat, it becomes double difficult to do the installation, double critical that everything be done right. So just if you don't have a 42-inch or bigger TV on the boat, just don't do HD. If you're going to do HD, use Dish Network, or you're really asking for a lot of problems. And if anybody wants a satellite TV for their boat, come and talk to me. I'll be glad to give you a quote for one. What happens with these things typically is somebody comes to me with a 50-foot Sea Ray or whatever, and they've got 4 TVs on the boat. And they say, well, I want all 4 TVs to have satellite TV. Well, the first question out of my mouth is, how many do you want to be independently tunable? So, you know, if everyone watches the same thing, it's really easy to do 10 TVs. In fact, literally, I'm quoting a system right now for the Mystic Blue. You guys probably know that boat down on Navy Pier. It's the biggest boat in Chicago, besides Odyssey, her sister ship. And they're going to put a sports bar on there, and they're going to run all the TVs on the same channel. So they just need one dish, one satellite receiver, and they just boost the signal out and just send it to all those TVs, 14 or something TVs on the boat. They're all going to be watching the same channel. If you want to watch a different channel down in the V-berth than they are in the main salon, then you need 2 separate satellite receivers, and your installation becomes complicated, more and more and more so. And it's all possible. I've done, you know, 5 satellite receivers, all HD, tuning 5 different stations to 5 different TVs, and everybody can watch a different premium channel in HD. But is it really necessary on a boat? I mean, you better get yourself a 300-foot boat. One of the things that I'll clue you in on that's going to really hurt my satellite sales, or it should, and that is that the federal government is now broadcasting HD TV on Channel 7. Has anybody noticed it? If you're still, I use cable at home, but if anybody's still using a rabbit ears, last year your TV took a big step up. I mean, it's really incredible the resolution you're getting off of this broadcast television. And all it takes to make it work, you don't have to change out the Shakespeare or the Galaxy or the UFO thing up on the arch. That stays. The rabbit ears all stays. You just need a digital TV. So you can literally leave your boat alone, buy a new flat screen TV, hook it up and tune it in and look at the picture. You'll be really surprised. It's HD TV for free. So that's something to look into.